The Caribbean for $1,000 a month. I understood why the influencers showing you their perfect island life are either lying or broke. These places will either save your retirement or destroy it. When most people hear the word Caribbean, they immediately think of luxury resorts, private beaches, million-dollar villas, cruise ships, and vacations that cost a fortune. But here's what most people don't realize. The Caribbean isn't just for tourists. Millions of people actually live there. And some islands remain surprisingly affordable for expats and retirees. In fact, several Caribbean destinations offer a lifestyle many people only dream about. Warm weather year-round, ocean views, outdoor living, friendly communities, and in some cases, living costs that are dramatically lower than North America and parts of Europe. But there's a catch. The cheapest Caribbean destinations often come with trade-offs: healthcare, infrastructure, hurricanes, import costs, government bureaucracy. The Caribbean has two economies: the tourist economy, where a cocktail costs $18, and the local economy, where that same cocktail costs $2, but you have to know where to look, who to trust. Today, we're counting down the cheapest places in the Caribbean to live for expats and retirees in 2026. Let's get into it. Number 7, Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to start by saying this one surprises people. Most people don't think of T&T as a budget destination. And to be fair, it's not the cheapest on this list, but it deserves a spot because of something the others can't offer: English as the primary language, a functioning, developed economy, and one of the most vibrant cultures in the entire Caribbean. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Port of Spain or San Fernando, $500 to $800 USD per month. Outside the main cities, $350 to $550 USD. Groceries for one person, $250 to $350 USD per month. Local food is remarkably affordable. A plate of doubles, the famous street food, costs under 50 US cents. A full local meal at a restaurant, $4 to $8 USD. The truth about living in Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, here's where we get real. Trinidad and Tobago has a crime problem. Port of Spain in particular has areas with significant gang activity, and violent crime does affect expats occasionally. This is not to say it's dangerous everywhere. Many expats live there for years without incident, but you need to be street smart, choose your neighborhood carefully, and not walk around at night flashing expensive gear. The suburbs of Maraval, Diego Martin, and certain parts of South Trinidad are considerably safer than the inner city. Number 5, Jamaica, the most famous Caribbean island on this list, and the one that generates the most questions and the most misconceptions in the expat world. Let me say this clearly up front. Jamaica is not Sandals Resort, and the real Jamaica is complicated, wonderful in many ways, genuinely affordable in ways that'll surprise you, and challenging in ways that require real honesty. Rent for a one-bedroom furnished apartment in Montego Bay, Mandeville, or Ocho Rios, $400 to $700 USD. In Kingston, the capital, expect slightly higher for equivalent quality, $550 to $850 USD. In rural or small town areas, you can find quality local housing for $250 to $400 USD a month, though the expat infrastructure gets thinner. The truth about living in Jamaica. I'm going to be direct here because I'd rather you be prepared. Jamaica has a serious crime and violence problem, particularly in Kingston and certain parishes. The homicide rate is among the highest in the Western Hemisphere. This sounds alarming, and it is in context. The violence is almost entirely concentrated in specific garrison communities involved in gang conflicts. That said, you need to be thoughtful about neighborhoods, you need local knowledge, and you should not arrive in Jamaica like it's a Disneytown theme park. And this is a positive one. Jamaicans speak English. Not patois accented English that's hard to follow. Most Jamaicans have perfectly clear English for daily interactions. For retirees especially, this is a massive practical advantage. Number 4, Honduras, Bay Islands, Roatan. Roatan and Utila specifically have become two of the most popular budget expat destinations in the entire Caribbean region.
Rent for a one-bedroom in West End or Sandy Bay area of Roatan, $450 to $750 USD. Two-bedroom house with a garden or partial ocean view, $600 to $1,000 USD. The further from West End you go, the cheaper it gets. In quieter areas of the island, places like Punta Gorda or French Harbor, you can find solid rentals for $350 to $500 USD.
The truth about Roatan. The big one. Mainland Honduras has a very serious violent crime reputation. This is real and not to be dismissed. But, and this is crucial, Roatan and the Bay Islands are geographically and effectively separated from the mainland's issues. The Bay Islands have their own police presence, their own tourism protective culture, and a long history of expats living safely. The expat community has been here for 30-plus years. The second reality, isolation. Roatan is small. West End specifically is tiny. After 6 months, some expats start to feel cabin fever. The same restaurants, same faces, same activities. The third reality, water. Roatan has chronic water supply issues. Most properties rely on cisterns and water delivery. This is a regular fact of life, not a crisis, but it's an adjustment. Number 4. Belize. The English-speaking Caribbean paradise that every Facebook ad promises you. Here's the truth. Belize is cheap only if you live like a local, and almost no expat actually does. The western interior, places like San Ignacio, Cayo district, offer the best value. Clean air, jungle setting, Mayan ruins nearby, cooler temperatures than the coast, and rents of $350 to $600 for a solid one-bedroom. San Ignacio has a growing expat community and is genuinely excellent value. Technically not on the Caribbean coast, but it's Belize, and it's where the smart budget expat money has moved. Groceries. Significant import dependency means food is more expensive than you'd expect. Budget $350 to $450 USD per month for groceries. Local produce is affordable. Anything packaged or imported costs more. The truth about Belize. Infrastructure is the worst in Central America. Power outages are constant. Internet is slow and expensive. Healthcare is limited. Serious conditions require evacuation to Mexico or the U.S. And Belize City, one of the most dangerous cities per capita in the world. Number 3. Nicaragua. Nicaragua's Pacific side, Grenada, San Juan del Sur, is well known among expats. But the Caribbean coast? It's a different country, literally. Different ethnicity, Afro-Caribbean, indigenous Mosquito, different language, English Creole, Mosquito, different history. And it's cheap because it's isolated. Corn Islands. Big Corn Island. One-bedroom rent $200 to $400 USD. Yes, you read that right. Two-bedroom house with Caribbean views, $350 to $600. Little Corn Island, even cheaper, and almost entirely car-free. $150 to $350 for a basic but livable rental. Groceries, incredibly affordable by Caribbean standards. Local fish, rice, beans, coconut, fresh fruit. You can eat very well for $150 to $250 per month. Isolation is extreme. The Corn Islands are an hour flight from Managua or a 12-hour boat ride. Bluefields is only accessible by boat or small plane. Medical care? Basic clinics. Serious issues require evacuation to Managua. Number 2. Guyana. The English-speaking country in South America, sitting on the Caribbean coast, and it is rapidly becoming one of the most interesting expat destinations in the entire hemisphere. Georgetown rent for a one-bedroom in a decent neighborhood, $350 to $600 USD. Two-bedroom house in a good residential area, $500 to $900 USD. Outside Georgetown, places like Belize, even cheaper, $200 to $400 for a solid apartment. Groceries, remarkably affordable. Guyana produces significant quantities of food locally: rice, fish, tropical fruits, vegetables. A single person's monthly grocery budget, $180 to $280 USD. Cooking locally is genuinely cheap.
Georgetown rent for a one-bedroom in a decent neighborhood, $350 to $600 USD. Two-bedroom house in a good residential area, $500 to $900 USD. The truth about Guyana. Georgetown has crime challenges, particularly petty crime and occasional armed robbery. The same advice applies as elsewhere. Neighborhood selection, awareness, not flashing wealth. Expats in Guyana universally say, Georgetown is manageable with the right approach. It is not a war zone. Number 1. Dominican Republic. Let me be brutally clear. The DR is the cheapest Caribbean nation where you can still access modern amenities. Period. We're talking apartments for $300 to $500 a month, a full meal for $4, beers for $1.50. If your only metric is cost, the DR wins. But here's the truth that will save your life. The DR is cheap because the wealth gap here is a chasm. You will live in a gated community or a building with bars on every window. There is no in-between. I learned this the hard way. Healthcare. The DR has the best healthcare infrastructure on this list, especially in Santo Domingo. Let's be direct. The DR has petty crime, scams targeting tourists and expats, and some neighborhoods you shouldn't walk through at night. Santo Domingo in particular has areas of higher risk. But the major expat areas, Los Terrenos, Cabarete, the expat zones of Santo Domingo, are generally safe.